tried my best to do with what is around me, right?
Yeah.
Instead of like using sponge balls or something like that. So I'd roll up like tissue or a cloth and
Nice.
right now I'm working on flower production, but not a cheesy flower production. Like I pick up some dirt, and you can watch my hand. They zoom in closer, and then a flower grows in my hand. Now TikTok has that, and I'm just going to recreate it in my own way.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that's the best piece of magic. Man, yeah, it's just makes something appear that's alive.
Yeah.
You know, live production. That's why people love the bunny in the hat, of course, or doves. They love that because it's an animal. It's
now,
very
you mentioned rabbits. I'm actually allergic.
Oh, really? Are you? Oh, and you're a magician? Yeah.
Yep.
Just happen to be.
Yeah. What I usually do is I can get like some sugar packet, put it in my hand like this, and squeeze as tight as I can, snap, do whatever, and a little sugar rabbit appears in my hand.
Yeah. And you can throw that in your coffee.
So, yeah, I'm allergic to rabbits. I have ADD, ADHD, and short-term memory loss. So the best thing to do with my thought process, if I'm ever dreaming or sleeping and I think of something, I would wake up and instantly write it down with either a pen or a pencil if you wanted to. But that's what I recommend if anybody wants to be a magician. Just if you have anything in your mind, like an idea or something like that, please write it down, because it goes into your long-term memory once you write it down, and you can memorize it multiple times. With me, with an effect, I think of it over and over in my head, and it will go into my long-term memory.
Yeah, well, that's absolutely right. It's just like when you wake up from a dream and you remember it, and you vaguely remember, and then you can kind of remember if you focus on it. But if you don't, and you wake up and you maybe go to the bathroom, you can completely forget about that dream. Like we have dreams every night, but we don't always remember them. And there's ways of tapping into that. And that's even talking about what you're doing. Like we're day walkers now, maybe we're dream walkers. But then we have to write it down. If we don't, it could slip, because our mind is just running all the time.
Yeah.
So
and nowadays we have something to document all of our information on as well. We're on it right now is our cell phones. And we also have little note-taking.
And this is getting documented. We'll be recording this, so yeah.
Yeah. We also have like apps for everything. You can have a note app and just write down all your information. That's what I do with my scripts and my lectures that I have. My newest lecture is perform at your own risk. Yeah, and it deals with the trick that you saw earlier, the squeaker, and that's one of my final tricks that I talk about, performing at your own risk.
Right on. That's awesome, man. Perform at your own risk. Yeah, we look forward to that. Yeah, and having those tips are very important, because a lot of things slip the mind, and writing them down at least will put it down. I use the notes just like you, like on my iPhone, and just when I wake up, or whenever you have those moments, because you're not always by a pen and pad, but you should be. There always should be. I always try to have one by my bed, at the desk, everywhere. But sometimes it's not there for the phone. I do believe it helps a little bit more if you do write it down, because you're working your mind into what letters you're putting down and stuff like that. And a long time ago, I used to mix up my B's into my D's. I don't anymore because I've been practicing. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I would take the phone, and then I would always try to transcribe the stuff that I felt were more important. Because maybe I would type some stuff, because I know, writing down is definitely, you're putting in the action. This is just a little action. I think there's something just so much different when you're using a pencil or a pen. I wonder why is that? Why is it that we don't feel that we have that when we do it on the phone?
Well, we use our phones every day. probably every second of the day, and we're used to this typing in. We know where our thumbs are going to go. But I think if you use a pencil, you're using your memory of kindergarten and preschool of the letters and the numbers or anything that you're about to write down, and that's processing your mind to think a little bit harder to get into your long-term memory.
And it's also the most classic and traditional way of getting, a thought out, and thoughts become art. So
yeah, and we don't use it as often as we used to. I mean, nowadays writers are typing on their computer.
I know. I have a hard time doing that. I really do like writing, because especially I don't really like typing on the phone. Like I'm going to do a page, I'm like, that's annoying. I'd rather use the computer, but I honestly really like writing it and just free flowing, and then you transfer into the computer is like the first draft, and then you're kind of editing rather than writing.
Yeah, like I said before, if you have something in your memory and you write it down, you can always come back to it and be like, this might be important later, and then you can stumble across like for me, I sometimes go to Lowe's, Home Depot, craft stores and stuff like that. If I stumble on something that I can create and put into something, and I remember, hey, I think I wrote that down somewhere, I can go back to that and use what I just saw to make an effect.
And how do you like to organize those?
What do you mean?
Like organize to keep them like, okay, these are the thoughts I had for maybe coin magic or card magic, or this is the story I had for this. I would either write a title and then a description, and if I can't, like, we're humans, we lose information every now and then, and if I can't find it, I'll put another title, hey, this is coins, and then if I see it, I would either erase it or copy and paste it back on, depending on what you're using. Yeah, I talked to a lot of magicians, like, how do you organize our stuff, in more sense, like, how do we organize our thoughts in our minds? Putting it out on paper is the first step, and then having it, the labels, and knowing where to go. So you must have a lot of, like, themes and labels towards things, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like, you would start small into an effect. An effect would go into what a trick would be, and the trick can correlate into an act, and that act can make a show. So the smallest things can become huge.